Okay, much better. And yeah, this is probably like pornographic because I'm in a bath towel because I'm too lazy to switch over my pajamas. But it's because I have to talk about this. So those of you who have like ADHD or neurodivergence, right? Like, do you ever do that thing where like you find something in your house and you're like, oh, I better put this in a responsible place so I don't lose it. But then it doesn't, like, months later, you can't figure out where you put it because you put it in a place that makes sense for probably a neurotypical person, but not where it you would ever go to look for it again, right? So I do this to myself all the time. I put things away where I think they should go in the moment, and then I can't ever find them again because they don't relate to my scattered brain. I should probably just leave them out in the middle of a floor because that's how I would find them again. But first time I tricked myself, and you wouldn't believe how this worked. Like a week or so ago, I always bring travel locks with me to lock my suitcase, whatever. And I have this really great travel purse that has like a little like thing that you can hook it up to so that the keys are always in your purse with the lock, and they're really easy to find. You don't have to go like digging through like pennies and random change from all different countries to find like those tiny little keys in your purse. So I remembered they were on the bedroom floor. Must have fallen out of my purse. And so they were on the bedroom floor, and I was in a rush because I was going somewhere. And so I threw them in a place that I thought would make sense to me later. And then didn't even think about it because I knew, oh, I don't need to check my lock in my purse because I know I have the keys, right? So of course I get all the way here and I'm like getting ready to lock my suitcase up, and the keys are not with the lock. And I'm like, oh my God. And I searched my whole purse because I'm like, oh, I remembered seeing them on the floor, and I'm like, well, the logical place to put them back would be my purse. But I couldn't find them. And then I was like, oh, no, you wouldn't have put them in your purse because that purse was out in the living room because you were using it for a concert, da da da. This is my neurodiverse brain. So I was like, well, I know I put them someplace that I would find them when traveling, right? Like I would never just put it, like I would put it in a purse or a suitcase, but I wouldn't have put it in the suitcase that was in my bedroom because that's not the suitcase I use for big travel. That's like for weekend travel. So I knew I didn't leave it in there. So I just came back from dinner and I was like, I wonder if it was my backpack I threw them into, because then I also have this travel backpack that just sits in front of my closet. So I just went through the whole thing, like emptied it all out. Wouldn't you know, there they were. So in that moment of panic when they were on the floor, and I'm like, I'm going to be looking for these in a few weeks, but the regular place is not here to put them in. I threw them in that backpack thinking you'll remember they're in here, which I didn't remember they were in there, but I knew to look and I found them. So I know this is a really riveting travel story and it's so exciting. But when you have ADHD or I have ADHD, I do shit like that all the time. And then I end up like I'm in another country and I don't have what I'm looking for. Like, by the way, I thought the adapter plug in my backpack was a universal plug. Because the one I had before was universal, but it was really big and clunky. And so I bought another one that was much smaller. And I'm like, oh, this is so much better. And so I didn't even think to check or swap it out or put the big ugly one in. So I'm traveling with the other one, the new one. Well, that's only for Australia, South America, Japan, and the UK, which is very, very random, all of those, but not Africa. So, and this would not be the first time I've shown up in Africa without the right adapter plug. This was an obsession when I was in Morocco because I didn't have the right one and I was going all over the place trying to find one, and that is just not the kind of thing they apparently sell anywhere. It's also not a place you find malls in very many places. And so, oh my gosh, I remember spending the whole trip like borrowing an adapter plug from this couple that I'm with who travels with two, that I was traveling with, and they always have two because they're way better prepared. And I've learned a lot from them, but it's clearly not enough. And then like after finally giving up on trying to find an adapter plug and just using theirs, I found one in this like random like Medina in like Fez, like a week into the, or week and a half into the trip. And so I bought it, but now I don't know where that one is. So there's always something I forget. So when I say that I don't make travel mistakes, I don't often make them. Like, I make little ones. I make stupid little ones, like traveling without double checking my lock for my suitcase. But I tricked myself into putting the keys finally in a place I would think to check, and they were there. After 51 years, I'm finally figuring out how to deal with this crazy, crazy brain. So anyway, moral of the story, always check your locks and your travel keys. Make sure that they're in the places that you think they are. Don't assume that just because you haven't unpacked your backpack from the last trip that you don't need to double check your adapter plug, because maybe when you bought the universal plug, you weren't considering that you were going back to Africa at some point. So always check your adapter plugs. In this case, the hotel's fine with what I have, so I can charge my phone. But otherwise, this would have been another trip where I was going crazy trying to find one. At any rate, always check your adapter plugs. Don't assume that you always have the right one in there. Just don't assume you know. Like, don't get too casual. I think I got a little travel arrogant on this trip, and I think I have everything. But yep, the keys definitely threw me off, and the adapter plug. I wish I could say I haven't made that mistake before, but I have. And I still don't double check it. So double check everything. Even if you think you know where everything is, just double check everything, triple check everything. And remind me to do that the next time I travel.